from the further future. While I was editing this video, I wasn't satisfied with the differences between the guitars on the bridge with the overdrive, so I went and retracked everything, except this time I used the line out from my very old school Marshall. And while there were some differences, I find that when you play in the open position and in the beginning of the neck, that has more of the characteristic. As you go up the neck, I feel like there's less difference, and it's more about the body of the guitar, the neck wood. Up here, you really hear it. The bigger difference was in the middle position, the bridge and neck, right in the middle. So, is it possible that my pedal/amp simulator is restricting the tonal differences? If I really wanted to do this right, I would have mic'd up my good old tube amp over there. But I guess we unintentionally discovered that the amp you use is almost more important than the pickups. Now, I've heard that before, but I've never really valued that idea until literally right now. Also, your playing style contributes enormously. In between the original test and my retake, I saw a video from Daryl Braun, and in it, he basically said that even though this is an electric guitar and the pickups do the work, there is still room for you to influence the sound based on your picking technique. Do you pick straight across the string? Or do you hold your pick a little on the side, get some grit in there, and slice? Take a listen to the difference between straight on and slice. You can hear when I slice it that, contrary to what you would think, there's actually a little bit of a warmer sound. So that's very interesting. And then, where do you actually pick? It's not as extreme as this versus this. No one's really playing on the neck or there. I mean, maybe they are. They're more in between this area, but even within that area, listen to the difference. Playing closer to the neck gives you more warmth. Playing closer to the bridge, it's very subtle, but there is a little more sparkle in the high end over there.
I'm not kidding.
And then there's always the hot topic question of string choice. Does the brand of strings that you use fundamentally change your sound? We're gonna find out. I'm really excited for that test, but it's gonna still take me quite a while because I'm doing short and long-term recordings. But for now, back to previous me.
Water is 2 hydrogen atoms for every 1 oxygen atom.
What's up, world? This is Average Guitar Player. My name is Z, and today we're going to be taking a look at these 3 guitars. A CHARVEL with humbuckers, a Gibson Les Paul with P90s, and a Fender Telecaster with single coils. I'm going to be playing these through an audio interface into an amp modeler, and we're going to see if you can hear the differences between these 3 styles of pickups. However, at the time that you're going to be seeing this part, we'll already know because this video isn't in order, and I filmed this part before tracking each of these guitars, but I wanted to talk about them beforehand, but I knew that if I did this part before the playthrough, then you probably would have been bored and turned this video off, and now here we are. I love each of these guitars for different reasons, and I feel like they each have their own unique voice. But is it fair to say that this CHARVEL represents all humbuckers and that this Gibson represents the way all P90s sound? No, definitely not. But I do feel that they do a good job of representing the essence of what they're meant to do. Daryl Braun, a fellow YouTuber, fellow like I'm friends with him, he's an awesome guy and I really like his videos. They've definitely inspired me to do what I'm doing right now. He's got A+ material, so I'm definitely not going to try and reinvent the wheel. Basically, his claim is that the electric guitar is 90% pickups and 10% everything else, which is actually very interesting because if you go through the internet, you will see that quite a few people are claiming exactly the opposite, that they're saying pickups are 10% and it's 90% other stuff. But that's not a debate I care to open up today. But I will say that in my experience with playing each of these guitars by themselves, that they all do have unique characteristics. For example, the Fender Telecaster has single coils, and as you would expect, it's a thin but extremely clear and detailed sound. There's a lot of punch to them, whereas the P90, when in the bridge position and some overdrive, it has more raspy sound to it with less note definition. But when you put it on clean, in the middle position, which is where I prefer it most, it's just full and it's just, I feel, unparalleled. It can't be beat. And the CHARVEL, well, it's in a category of its own because these humbuckers, in my many years of playing, I have never seen such clarity, but yet such warmth. I love this thing to death. I absolutely think it is the perfect humbucking guitar for me. But am I right? I don't know. Let's do our playthrough and see if I'm right. I think that on the clean channel, you're going to hear the nuances between them, and on the overdrive channel, I think some of them might get lost. I'm going to go play these guitars, listen to them, and then do a reaction video. And now here's that. And now we're back with my reaction after tracking and exporting the mix that you heard prior to my comments that I made before the tracking. Starting with the mid channel on clean. Did I mention that this CHARVEL has the brightest humbuckers that I've ever heard? Immediately, I was caught off guard when I was comparing. The P90s actually sounded more like a traditional humbucker, but what I love about them is that while they're warm, they have a high-end clarity and definition that works very well for me, and I know in a mix that it blends very nicely. The Tele is exactly how I expected it to sound, and on its own, it's so good. But in my past, at least with my American Tele, I found that it can be too thin. This guitar, however, is brand new to my collection. I sold my American Telecaster in favor of this, and I will go into more detail in that and why in my next video. But just for now, I want to take an aside to say how amazing the quality is. It's a made in Mexico instrument as compared to made in America, but yet fret ends, beautiful, the neck is just feels great, it's awesome, it's unbelievable. And I know that sometimes it's the luck of the draw, you know, because I've had high-end guitars with terrible setups, sharp fret ends, and then I've had the opposite. I've had cheapo, no-name guitars that have played so great, and then I played more. But with these three guitars, I definitely am lucky. I also have this, which I wanted to maybe use for the test, but I just decided against it. It has flat wounds on it. It's your typical semi-hollow body guitar, and it's a D'Angelico. It's really nice, really awesome guitar. On to the neck. Again, the CHARVEL, super bright and similar to the Tele, whereas the P90, it was just too dark for my taste. And you know, some people may dig that, and I know I could probably EQ it, but you know what? I wasn't about to do that. I kept all the settings neutral, and I just wanted to make this test as even as possible. I kept the gain on my interface the same. I kept the input settings and all that on my amp simulator the same. I just wanted the guitar's natural sound to speak. On to the overdrive. Aside from the obvious difference in the gain on the Tele due to its natural lower output, they actually all sounded very similar to my ears. I mean, if you want to put a fine-tooth comb on it, there was more warmth and body to the CHARVEL. You know, it was like very subtle, but you could notice it was there. And maybe there's more that you can hear that I maybe didn't, but when I was listening to them back to back, I just didn't hear a significant difference. And I know that in a mix, you probably would not be able to pick them out. Hey everyone. It's me again from the further future, except This time, it's even further in the future because I forgot to film myself saying this. So now I'm calling it in. I'm kind of on the fence about what I just said because, I mean, once you add drums, bass, vocals, and effects, the essence of the guitar can become hazy. But then again, if you listen to early Blink-182 records, it is very obvious that Tom is playing a single coil guitar. So while it can be argued that one might need to be used for this riff or that riff, my personal opinion after retesting is that if I needed to just choose one guitar to plug and go, I would honestly probably choose the P90s. It just has the best of both worlds, detailed clarity and a big sound. In this test, with the gain at noon, the Tele had the clarity but just needed a little bit more drive. The CHARVEL delivered the right amount of drive, but just had a more blended voice, whereas the P90, it's just so detailed. I would describe it as a bite. It has just a touch less saturation than the CHARVEL, but still just enough to be both messy and neat at the same time. Let's take a listen to some more audio clips. Maybe it's just like a phenomenon that exists, you know, when you're playing, you're hearing the acoustic character of the guitar combined with the amp sound, so your perception is altered.
I'm really not kidding.
There you have it. Feel free to let me know what you think, and if you would rather hear riffs from popular songs instead of my own material, let me know too. But please don't troll me, because there's already enough hate and negativity in the world. I'm just an average guitar player. Keep being awesome. You rock. I'll see you later.